What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the All Star Sports Show. I know it's kind of been a hot minute because we had a lot of other things on the menu for a while, but we are back at it again. Um, yeah, it should be very interesting as well. Not much
There's
to
been a
go,
lot. There's been a lot that was going on this week in sports. It's been crazy,
especially
you know.
football wise. There's been a shit ton, a lot of
Yeah,
football. I mean,
yeah.
kicking it off too. I mean, Jordan Love actually now becomes one of the highest paid QBs. I think 55 million. I think is what he's averaging after signing a 4-year, 220 extension with the Packers. After obviously that one after that last week and a half where he kind of just went on a tear.
It wasn't really the last week and a half. I think it was really the back half of last season. He was going crazy on the field. I remember when they played us, and he absolutely torched our defense. When he
Oh
played
yeah,
Philly, he absolutely torched our defense. So I think he deserves the money, but it also begs the question: can he improve on last year? Which I think he can. He improved on the year before, where he didn't play that well because, albeit it was his rookie season, rookie hiccups. It happens, but he
yeah.
improved on that. His ball placement was good. You know, he can find the receiver off the break of the route. Like he was good. He was good last year, and I've been impressed with Jordan Love, and hopefully he does have a
And
tremendous season next year. Just except for not against us, obviously.
well, and that's the funny thing is too. The only time he had because for those who kind of wondering too, yeah, I mean he kind of came in. This is before Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay, and
He got drafted in Aaron Rodgers' last year because they were basically going to Brett Favre the entire situation, and that's what drove Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay and into New York
yeah, it's
because
like
he
pretty
didn't
much.
he didn't want to mentor a younger quarterback, which I think was a terrible take because like you're older, Aaron, you're older. Your durability is going to be lesser because look at last year. Last year, he only played 4 snaps, and then he
Yeah, and just popped
screwed
his
up his leg,
Achilles.
popped his Achilles on 4 plays, and he was just, and it was on a hit that really wasn't that detrimental or heavy. It wasn't a big hit. He just popped his leg. He popped his Achilles on like planting his foot basically.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Aaron Rodgers, his durability is going to be worse because he's older. That's why they drafted Jordan Love. If I was Aaron Rodgers in that scenario when Jordan Love got drafted, I would have been like, all right, I'm getting older. I understand why you drafted him. I'm going to help this kid.
And to piggyback off too, like he also needs to understand too. Like I was also part of the same thing too back in 2005.
Yeah, you were a part of that same thing, and you had a quarterback in Brett Favre doing the same shit you did to Jordan Love. I'm not helping this kid. I'm the star. You don't need to do that. Like, you're older. Your durability is not going to be as great as it was when you were a younger cat. That's
Oh
that's that's just how it works. You get
yeah,
older, your
I
body
I
breaks
agree.
down due to the level of play, and they have to go younger. It happens. It's sports. It's a business. It happens. Aaron should have handled it better.
Yeah, 100%.
He should have learned through the Brett Favre situation that he should have been like Brett Favre. He should have been like, I'm gonna help this kid out. But I digress. We're a year removed from him leaving and stuff like that. A year later, you have Jordan Love. He has a rocky start, which is expected for a second-year player who didn't really start that much in his rookie season, but he started enough games to where it was like, all right, he has some kinks to get out. He got him out by like halfway through the season. And in the back half of the season, he went crazy. He went
100%.
crazy. So he deserves a bag. He deserved a bag, and I think you know, I'm just hoping for his improvement because I like the kid. I like Jordan Love. I think he's gonna be a good quarterback in this league. A very
I
good
mean,
quarterback.
so far in 2023, he put up 32 touchdowns to 11 picks for
Yeah.
4,159 yards with a QBR rating of 62.1. I mean,
He
you really can't
he
really
he
ask
he
much for that.
completed. But what's his completion percentage too? I want to know
Completion
that.
percentage 64.2.
So he completed over 60% of his passes. He has 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He had a great season. A great
And
season.
in the regular season, if you think about it, he attempted 579 passes, completed 372, good for 62.4 completion percentage for 159 yards, averaging over basically almost like 17 yards per 2 yards per pass. But his longest was 77 with a 96.1 rating. However, when you look at his postseason numbers, on the other hand, attempted 55 passes, completed 37 with a 67.3 completion percentage for
So he was
466
even better. So he was even better in the playoffs. Even
and for four,
better.
466 yards, 5 touchdowns to 2 picks. Longest is 46 yards, and also has a rating of 108.6. And also the same. This is the same dude who also torched the Dallas defense, which that was kind of funny.
Which honestly, that's impressive in itself. Because I'm gonna be unbiased here. Dallas's defense isn't that bad. Let's
It
be
really
honest.
isn't,
They're
but
not
they
that bad.
just somehow collapsed.
They just collapse in the playoffs all the time. If they can just stop collapsing in the playoffs, I think they could be a good team, and they could actually, yes, compete with us for the
And
NFC.
go
But the
look at in
problem
that
is,
game,
their defense collapses in the playoffs. Dak also tends to collapse in the playoffs,
which that's
which
that's no
kind of
surprise.
it's no surprise, and that's why there's been. I'm gonna segue this to the next thing, and I was hearing about this on social media through ESPN
So
that there's a little bit of rumblings. There's a little bit of rumblings going on that this may be his last year in Dallas.
yeah.
There's rumblings. There's rumblings. Don't know how true it is because it's probably all media talk. But
I mean, take it for
which
granted.
take it with a grain of salt here. It's probably just media talk trying to stir drama. I really don't believe that it's Dak's year personally, Dak's final year personally. But because even Jerry Jones said this ain't his final year. I don't know what you guys were talking about. Dak didn't really disclose that it was. He's saying it's a business, which he's right. It's a business. Things like that do happen. Trades do happen.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, I also don't believe it's his final year. I think it's just the media talking, trying to get a story out and stuff like that. So I don't believe it's his final year, but there is rumblings that it is his final year.
And I'll think of
So
this too. And there's been a lot of things. And look, like I said, bias aside, there's a lot of Dallas talk for interesting reasons. I mean, you have Dak, Seed, now you have Michael Parsons, both on have one more year. This is their last year on their current deals. Now you have CeeDee Lamb already holding out for a new deal.
yeah.
The issue that I see with Dallas is like, how are they going to pay him? Because they barely got any money to spend. And
I think that's also why there's rumblings that he maybe his final year because I would assume the contract is coming up soon. Contract may be coming
yeah,
up,
because Dak's on
and
his last.
they don't have any money to spend because they're in cap hell right now. They're in cap hell, so I really don't think Dak is resigning if he wants the bag. If he wants lesser money, then he might resign. But if he wants the bag, he's gone.
I mean, right now
Because
there's been a lot of and also too, there was also rumblings for the last year or so that he wants to try to reset the QB markets because right now we have a few quarterbacks making over 55 million this year. That's T-Law. I think Joe Burrow. I think is also 55 million, and now you have now Jordan Love in that conversation.
which I do agree with our buddy Steve here. He deserved to get paid, but they did overpay him because while he did have a tremendous season last year, there were still some growing pains to work on. I don't think that he's worth that much yet, but he deserved to get paid. He deserved to get paid because he did have a good season. He deserved an extension in his contract for Green Bay. But yeah, they did overpay a bit. They overpaid. I do agree with that.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, like say if you had like say now there's a lot of times too, like we've seen some overpays that actually kind of worked out over the years, and some, well, not so much because good lord, there's been always been like an ugly history of that. And actually I want to kind of go back to Dallas a little because I actually want to kind of and people are going to be wondering, what's their like, there's going to be some people who are asking like, what's going to be the cap situation looking like? I mean, so far in terms of your dead cap, not the greatest. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
the dead
24th in
cap
the league at
is
over 20.3 mil in dead cap,
yeah, yeah. That's a hefty
and
amount of money. Very hefty.
yeah, they got barely
They only have 12 million in cap space. That's not enough to get anybody.
and funny enough too, that is
Anyone.
actually 21st in the league in terms of cap space. And overall, total cap, they almost have
They basically did what I do in Madden. Completely screwed myself in cap.
I think we got, and there's another team we can throw in that conversation that has been in Cap Hill. We're looking at you, New Orleans. You are notorious for that.
Very notorious.
And honestly, going to the
and I feel like everybody's saying that RQ is everybody's like saying Jerry needs to sell the team. He's been, and I agree. He's been incompetent since what, 96?
Yeah. Everything
ever since that last Super Bowl in 96, he has not done diddly squat.
I heard that.
And in the words of Jim Mora, he's done diddly poo.
Yeah,
in the words of Jim Mora, he's done diddly poo.
And that's also an issue too. That look, like I said, bias aside, like you could see that from a mile away. Their depth is absolutely atrocious.
Oh, their depth is, oh my gosh. It's bare bones. It's bare bones. They don't really have depth. It's bare bones.
I like CD. Then you got his outside help is Brandon Cooks. Like, what the fuck's he gonna do? The dude, this is the same dude who got knocked out in the Super Bowl when he was a Patriot. And yes, the dude was on the end of countless memes after that 2017 Super Bowl after getting his ass laid out.
My favorite meme was the one where he wakes up in a hospital bed. He's talking to a nurse and he goes, "Who won the Super Bowl?" Or it was something like that. It was like, "Did we win?" And the nurse goes,
"No."
No.
Okay, Arco, we've seen the depth chart, and it makes me want to puke.
Oh, dude, when we did the week 1 thing, we went in depth and we saw the depth chart. Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh, it's bad. It is.
And honestly, what's kind of crazy too, like I've seen some people, like having record predictions of the Cowboys going 9-8.
I don't. I mean, hypothetically,
God, if everything goes shit.
I feel like if every starter gets under the sun gets hurt, then they might go 9-8.
Oh, that
maybe
8-9. Oh, Jesus. Todd, do you know how?
And that's even with that.
And honestly, I'm going to say this right then and there. I'm just going to defend Dak for a bit.
I'm going to defend Dak too. I mean,
he's been
because like people are like, but hold on, let me get my side on this because you lit a fire by saying that you were going to defend Dak, and I'm going to too. He's not trash. He's not trash. This is coming from an Eagles fan. Die hard. Dak is not trash. He goes quiet in the playoffs, but sometimes guys don't do well in the playoffs. It happens. He's a fine
the pressure
quarterback. He's a good quarterback, and I don't get the hate. I don't get it. And also too, like I have a respect for Dak because he advocates for mental health. I have a respect for Dak. I do. I don't hate the man. I don't. Hell, when he went down with that ankle injury and you saw him crying on the cart because he knew his season was over, I felt bad for him.
And Arku, I would agree to disagree with that. I mean, Jerry, it was a bit of a problem, but at the same time, too,
Jerry's the issue. Jerry is the issue, and also McCarthy, he is a questionable coach. And we've already known that this guy was a questionable coach because look at that one playoff game when you had freaking Ezekiel Elliott
line up at center against the Niners,
trying to block a lineman.
who was bigger and much stronger than he is.
How dumb can Mike McCarthy be for doing that? You basically just sent Ezekiel Elliott out there to die.
Because and
Like,
it's speaking of that too, that's also funny too. That I'll laugh at Jerry Jones like, why would you bring back an agent Ezekiel Elliott? I mean, yes, he's great for like a short down yards, but that's all Elliott's good for.
I think that's what he like signed him for, because he after that, like, they were using Tony Pollard for like the longer runs, the longer downs, the shorter downs. That's when they brought in Ezekiel Elliott, and it was effective. So I really can't like dog on Jerry Jones for bringing Zeke back, knowing that you have Tony Pollard for the longer downs instead of the shorter downs. I feel like he decided that he wanted to utilize Zeke better at his age, because he can't run longer routes anymore, or longer runs.
Not like he used
can
to.
do the short game. So
I mean, if you look at how Ezekiel Elliott,
and that's why they got. Hold on, that's why they got Tony Pollard, so he can do the longer down runs, and you can use Zeke Elliott for the short, like the 3rd and 1s or the 4th and inches or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the running back room. You got Ezekiel Elliott, right now as a predicted starter. You have Rico Dowdle as your second stringer, and then you have the 5'5" Deuce Vaughn. Oof. It's.
Are we talking about running back here?
Running back room.
Here's the thing. Smaller running backs, they can be more elusive, and blockers and like tacklers tend to miss them. So I can't really dog on them having a short running back, because it's worked before. Look at Darren Sproles.
Yeah, that's true.
Short as hell, but he can run. He can get past defenders. He can make guys miss by being short. Short running backs are really good, are fine.
I mean, Boston Scott's another one that.
Boston Scott, he was short. He was effective until dumbass Sirianni decided, we're not going to use him for anything. Huh?
Either way, to me, before we move on, I still think Deuce Vaughn should be the number 2 over Rico Dowdle.
Deuce Vaughn, he's shown a lot of potential at the running back position.
And also, me and Tyler are a little bit younger don't remember. And I remember about Barry Sanders, his sudden retirement at 2 years old. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah, I came in when the man retired into this world when the man retired. Okay, the only thing that I remember watching from like a football standpoint is 02 on or 01 on. Like, I remember, watching the McNabb era from the 2000s. For the Eagles, he was my favorite quarterback growing up. For obvious reasons, he played for my Eagles. I saw guys like Westbrook.
Even though it was kind of still weird seeing him in a. Not gonna lie, I was still kind of still weird to see.
It was also weird seeing Weapon X in a Broncos uniform.
I was just going there. That was my thought. It's like, oof, I don't know about this.
When he came back and played against us in 2010, I'm like, oh, that don't even look right. Brian Dawkins in a dang Broncos uniform, that don't look right.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I mean, but still,
he didn't even want to play there. He wanted to continue to play in Philly.
Rightfully damn so.
Bro was crying. Dude, before he went out on the field, he revealed that he was crying in the locker room because he had to play against his former team.
Because, I mean, the thing
that's how much he loved Philly.
Like, the dude, he's considered a Philly all-time great for what he was. And and we had some underrated ones. We have some others in the, God, I would say, last.
And he also, and also, fun fact for you, he came from our favorite alma mater, Clemson.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, and that's when actually, yeah,
we haven't replicated it since because we decided to go safety, from Clemson. Kayvon Wallace, anybody? That guy was a bum.
Straight up hot ass.
Kayvon was a bum. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He could not. He was always a dog. You know, like I don't think they traded him for the reason like, oh, he didn't have a good year in Philly. No, they traded him because I
I
have
think this,
no freaking idea. It was that
but
bad of a trade. It was that bad of a trade.
look,
I don't know why they did it.
either way, I mean, I think he's what in the Eagles Hall of Fame now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, every Dallas team is having success except for the Cowboys. You had the Mavs go to
Yeah,
the
the Stars
finals.
almost made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Just,
Stars was made it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I mean, you had
Would you
Texas winning the
count?
World Series.
I was about to say, would you count the Texas Rangers? I'm like, oh right, they play in Arlington, the same city as
Yeah,
Dallas. So,
even though they don't even.
yeah, Texas Rangers won the World Series and then collapsed this season. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
But yeah. But speaking of another quarterback extension, which
we looked
right,
awesome. He looked awesome in the orange and blue, but
to us Eagles fans, it was just weird.
As a Philly fan, it just didn't sit right with us.
It really didn't.
It just didn't sit right.
I mean,
I'm glad Denver, you guys made him.
You treated him right.
You treated him right. So I'm happy for Denver. Y'all showed him love.
God,
love y'all for doing that for him.
I'm trying to think who was the quarterback at the time. Because Peyton came in 2018.
This was like 2010. So I'm looking this shit. I'm looking this shit up
because I'm really curious that at the time, like who was the QB play out of that?
Wait, so wait, was Brian? Yeah, Brian Dawkins was 2010, right? I forgot.
I think so.
Broncos quarterback. It was Kyle Lorton starting and Tim Tebow backup.
Oh, I forgot about the Tim Tebow hype at the time.
He was good for 1 year and then he just collapsed.
Yeah, one-hit wonder. That's basically what I would.
And also, that team went 4-12 because freaking Josh McDaniels didn't know how to coach. He cheated.
I forgot about that.
Bro, he cheated for like the first. He cheated for like the first like season, and then he just like didn't do well in 2010. Hold on, safety, Josh. No, wait, no. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, wait, Martin.
Hold on. I don't even think he was on the 2010 team.
Yes, he was. He was strong safety.
Oh, yeah, he was strong safety. I'm looking at like regular safety. I didn't see that part.
When you look at this roster, that 2010 roster, you had some, especially the defense, though. That was
the thing is, the defense was good. The offense was just
hot ass,
and also the coach was horrific. Dude tried to cheat. Dude tried to do Spygate 2.0 in 2009.
And completely failed.
I think he started the season like 6-0 or something, and they find out that he cheated. Tank the rest of the season.
Yeah, because when you look at the coaching side, you have McDaniel. I'll give Tebow that. I do like the Wildcat formation.
Yeah,
I will say.
I think that was like after they got I think it was was it Kubiak? No, I don't think it was Kubiak. That was I know that was 2011. 2011 Broncos. I know it was 2011.
I think it might have been Kubiak. Good Lord.
No, it was John Fox.
That's a name I'm not familiar. That sounds like an unknown name.
Remember the Carolina years?
I do not.
Coach for Carolina. He was actually really good there. Like he was a really good coach there. John Fox also helped the Broncos go to the AFC Championship game, and I think it was like Peyton Manning's first year. And then he got like the health issues and stepped down that year. I think it was like 2013, 2014.
I legitimately do not remember, quite honestly.
Listen, it's been like over 10 years since then, so
Jesus. Yeah. But it
was before Kubiak. And it was during John Fox's year, and he really did specialize in the Wildcat formation as a coach. He was like a very like college-oriented coach. So I could see why it worked for Tebow. But when he had to play a pro style in New York and in Philly, He was awful.
It just did not work.
Like that's why he got cut from preseason in Philly, because he was just terrible. And also, people have been complaining like, "Oh, it's because he's a Christian, and the owners think that it's a distraction." It was never going to be a distraction.
The dude's
Being a
coaching style.
Christian, that's not a distraction. His little, like Tebow pose where he's praying on one knee, that's for me, it was whatever. Okay, you're a Christian, fine. I don't care. Okay, I don't give a damn. It's not a distraction to me. It's not a distraction to the owners. The problem was, outside of the college formation that he was working with in 2011, he wasn't a good quarterback. That's the reason why he didn't fare well and he wasn't signed by anybody.
Yeah, but like I said, man, is it just? Am I the only one that
he was a decent coach, but the problem was he was given terrible situations.
God,
like look at the Bears thing. You think he was gonna win with Jay Cutler?
Oh, hell fucking no.
Hell no. He was lucky he even got him to the NFC Championship in that year.
God. Yeah.
Also, look at him in 2011. The Tebow year, he was meh. For me, he's a meh coach. He'll give you like 10 wins and at worst 8-8.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll give you
and there's
like
a lot
really terrible seasons.
And like I said, there's some corners that are not not cut up by head coaches, but there are some great ones. I mean, case in point,
do you know who was an absolutely horrendous coach? Speaking of OCs trying to be a coach, and I'll tell you his name. I already had mentioned his name earlier in this show. Josh McDaniels. I hope he never gets a head coaching job again.
OC, he's fine, but the head coach,
great.
Holy crap!
OC, he's great, but head coach, he is. Oh my god, terrible.
God, it makes you want to puke.
Literally projectile, and yeah, he's not good. Not even
honestly. I was supposed to put this too. Like he wasn't horrendous, but he was kind of meh. Vic Fangio
is okay. I think he was also given a shitty situation because they hired Vic Fangio after the the Peyton Manning thing, and it was just like a quarterback carousel. I think the real problem with the Vic Fangio led team, it was the ownership trying to draft a sleeper pick every year at quarterback when you have other quarterbacks that were better that they fell in your lap and you chose wrong.
Osweiler, anybody? I remember that one. And they passed up Pat Mahomes.
Osweiler was okay, but the problem was.
No, I'm sorry. That's who am I?
Osweiler.
Oh, the absolute bum that is known as Paxton Lynch over Pat Mahomes.
Here's the thing. I think this is the same draft where Patrick Mahomes was in.
Yeah, Paxton Lynch was in the same draft class.
And he was on the board. Patrick Mahomes was on the board.
Tar, that's not the only.
Lynch?
Tar, remember, you also had the Bears who passed up on Pat Mahomes for Mitch Trubisky at second overall in that draft class.
I disagree. I think Fangio was okay as head coach, but the problem was, again, he came in the quarterback carousel. Which, why did they ever do that? No.
And that's the thing too. Like, coaches. I mean, to each their own of how, because like me and Tyler, we look at coaches differently than like you, Steve, especially from what you remember from the.
But that's fine. But that's the beauty of sports. We can all have different opinions, and it'd be okay. But when it comes to sports.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Howie.
But 16 teams passed on him. 16 teams. You passed on a perennial Super Bowl winning quarterback, and you didn't know it until it was too late.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. 2 Super Bowls. 2. One against us, which I'm kind of pissed
right now, there's been, favored to, not at the end of the day. I mean, if you retire right now,
no, 3. No, actually, no, 3. 3.
Well, technically, he has 2 in 4 years.
2020, 2022, 2023. Because remember, San Francisco in 2020 had that game.
Oh yeah, they completely fucking shit the bed against them.
They completely blew it. I was like, oh my god. They had a good lead too going into the second half, and they blew it. And we had the same issue. We had a good enough lead. We were up 24-14 at half.
Yep, and we completely shit the bed defensively.
Yep.
But at the same time, too, you also got to think of this. They did. I remember they did trade up and get Mahomes, and let's just say now the Chiefs were the most, or have become the most hated since then. They were fucking.
I feel like teams become most hated because they win a lot, and it's like give another team a chance. I feel like that mentality is the thing, but for me, I don't really hate. I don't hate the Chiefs. I don't. I can't hate the Chiefs.
I will say this too, though. I mean, they did have some solid QB play out of Alex Smith, who
Mahomes' first year, he was mentored by Alex Smith. His first year, 2016,
and that's the thing, dude. And that's what I would and she's kind of really realized that like, you don't have to freaking rush your QB's development. Because I didn't think he didn't really. He did play a short amount of games, but I mean that's kind of to be expected.
They gave him a few games to get his feet wet, in a sense. Like it was just a few games, but he did all right in those games. But really, he blew up around 2017, 2018. He blew up, and he became a superstar. He became a superstar by 2020, and look where he is now.
I mean,
he's basically the face of the league.
Yeah, Steve. It's like the AFC West despise the Chiefs, whether you're a Broncos fan, Chargers fan, or a Raiders fan.
But that's given. That's
kind of given. I mean, take it from us. Like we
the AFC has to come. The AFC has to compete with the guy to make the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
For us, we're NFC fans. We're on the NFC side.
Our conference is fucking dog shit.
Our conference, I don't think it's dog shit. I feel like our conference is all right. The problem is like they don't have a perennial team like the AFC and the Chiefs. You have a new team every single year going to the Super Bowl. You had us in 2022. You had the 49ers again in 2023.
And completely shit the bed again.
They choked again in the Super Bowl. You had other teams like after us. I think it was like after we beat the Patriots in 2017, there's just a new team every year. That's what I feel like.
Yeah. But actually, no. We did have another QB get his extension. That was Tua from the Dolphins. To be quite honest, I was kind of, there was a lot of talking points with Tua, about getting his extension. It's like, and the Dolphins were and there's been a lot of talks that I've been seeing and been a lot of reading over the last, throughout the entire year, like with his contract being up and whatnot. The biggest talk point was like, can this really be the guy that, can you really can trust Tua as to be the franchise guy? Because of the fact that Dolphins kind of, screw the dude after having multiple concussions.
That season, when that happened, when he went down with that concussion, I'm like, look, he should not play on Thursday night. They played him on Thursday night. I'm like, dude, don't y'all idiots know that a concussion does not heal in 4 days?
No.
You had him play on the Thursday night. They lost that game because he went down with a concussion again. So you made the concussion worse. And I looked it up too. I'm like, they literally could have killed this man.
They did. Almost.
They almost killed him. They almost killed him because they played him with a concussion. And if you play somebody with a concussion, you take another hit, that could kill you. I looked it up. In that case, Google was my friend.
I mean, Google's everybody's friend.
Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl, I'm happy.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about the Patriots because that's going to be a while.
You can't worry about the Patriots anymore. Their window has slammed shut. It's slammed shut now. They had their fun. Now it's over. But
thank God.
Also, the Chiefs are the new team that people want.
New team to beat.
The new team to beat. But the thing is, though, what really kind of bums me out is in the AFC, they always find you always have a team that's a perennial Super Bowl contender and a perennial winner of the Super Bowl. They're a dynasty over there. Here, you really don't have a dynasty.
No, it's like mixed match, like you're changing underwear, for lack of a better
Exactly.
term.
So wait, are
Sorry,
you saying the AFC?
I had to go that route.
Wait a minute, back up. Are you saying the AFC doesn't change its underwear?
No.
Well, damn.
The only
Well, damn.
No, I will say the AFC now has some interesting competition. Teams like
Yeah.
Houston, for the longest time,
Yep.
they were considered the laughing stock.
Oh.
But
Ever
now that's not.
ever since the Oiler days, they were a laughing stock. When they were the Oilers,
Yeah.
they moved to Tennessee. Then 2002, they got a team completely screwed over David Carr.
I mean, it became the human punching bag.
Completely screwed him over. Didn't give him an offensive line. They gave him receiver help. Like a little bit later, but still.
And then you had a freaking. Okay, here's another name from that team. I think a lot of people don't remember. Brian Cushing, anybody? Mr. Royd Heady. The guy had a hoot of fucking temper.
That man was fucking. You could tell, like his arms were inflated. I'm like, yeah, he is roided. He is roided up.
Yeah, Brian Cushing, the one.
You could tell.
Now,
just look at him. Just find a picture of Brian Cushing. Tell me he ain't roided.
I mean, this is the same guy who will. Yeah,
but you can't.
But now. I mean, the Titans, I know they're going to be bad, but they're not going to be super hot garbage. Well, I could be wrong.
I feel like the way that team is ran right now, I feel like the Titans are probably going to improve off of last year. I think Will Levis showed signs of being a good quarterback. He just needs to improve on things that he really struggled with last year. He is a fine enough quarterback. He's shown promise, unlike his backup, who's, oh my God, I don't think he even has promise.
Well,
I don't even think he even has promise. Jeez.
Well, and if I'm Will Levis, please get rid of the mayo in the coffee. I swear to God, that
Seriously,
ruins it.
Will Levis, I want to talk to you again. I want to sit you down. Bro, are you seated? Will Levis, are you seated?
God, just
the hell is up with the mayo in the coffee?
And not to mention, it's Heinz mayonnaise, which is good mayonnaise, but
you know what would make it even worse? You know what would make it even worse, Rob?
Okay.
If you use Dukes. If you use Dukes.
Oh, not Duke. Oh my God, dude. I wouldn't.
If you use Dukes, that literally straight up vinegar. That's what that mayo tastes like. Straight up vinegar.
Hang on.
Putting vinegar in coffee? Yeah, you're gonna barf on.
I'm God.
I'm sorry for even mentioning it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
don't puke on stream. I'm sorry.
I'm trying not. I now I can get that image out, get that scenario out of my head now. Thanks a lot to you.
Damn it! I'm sorry. I said I'm sorry like 5 times already, bro.
Now, off that side note, yeah, I think the AFC South is going to be very interesting. Jacksonville, I'm going to say this now. Jesus.
Here's my problem with Jacksonville. Last year, how the hell do you implode after starting 8-2? How does that even happen?
I don't know.
You have a good You got a good quarterback in I was about to say Justin Fields. You have a good quarterback in Trevor Lawrence.
I can't with you.
Oh, I don't know why I was almost about to say Justin Fields. It was weird, but you have a good quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. I don't know what happened to him in the last 7 weeks of the season. Good Lord, the play just wasn't there. Just wasn't.
It really
there
wasn't.
Either side of the ball.
And we really, at the same time, and this is coming from us that we have no room to talk about imploding.
Oh, we
got no room to talk.
1-7, Philly. 1-7. Yeah,
oh God, I want to put, and Tucker can attest to this too. Like I wanted to put my head through a fucking wall.
There were times during the streak, the winning streak that we were on,
where I called that into question.
We were like, every week we were like, this team really ain't that good. This team really ain't that good. Even though they were eking out wins, it was by luck. I'm like, this team really ain't
they're
that
barely
good. And then they played the Niners. I'm like, There it is.
Yep,
There it is.
there's the team we would expect.
There it is. There it is.
Now,
Getting
I
blown
would say,
out. And then I'm like, all right, we got blown out. You know, they need to recoup the next game, blow out again. And then they just kept losing.
they did.
They did at
But
9-8. They eked the 9-8 season. But the problem was they still imploded.
They limped their way in.
They went from a Super Bowl. They looked like a Super Bowl contender through 8 weeks or 9 weeks, starting 8-2. After that little implosion they had for the last 7 weeks, they looked mid at best. And they had just eked out a win to get a playoff spot at 9-8.
Yeah,
that's
and
after starting 8-2, so it was still an implosion. It wasn't as a massive implosion like Philly, because good lord, that was an implosion and a half. That team was still way worse than Jacksonville was last year. 1-7, 1-7, 3 blowouts. One of those blowouts happened in the playoffs against Tampa Bay,
which
dude, I turned that game off at half. I was like, oh my god!
I turned that off. I'll turn that game off after the first quarter. I was like, yep, I know where this is going.
Dude, you see the signs like faster than I do. I turned it off at half. I'm like, I was holding up hope. I'm like, all right, they'll probably wake up in the second half, because even when they were lucky and winning games, they were a second half team. They were great in the second half. They might come back and like third. I'm like, you know what? You know that, and then like it was like super ugly by half. I'm like, yeah, no, they're not coming back from this. Turn it off.
That is true, though. I will say that Jacksonville has made some huge steps.
I'm not gonna dog.
You can't knock them for that.
But still, you started 8-2, and then you lost the last 6 out of your last 7.
Yeah,
and then you went 9-8. Like, the thing is, I think they could have made even more of a step forward. The way they started the season at 8-2, they could have won out and went like 15-2, made the playoffs, and just ran through the AFC.
Because now the way how the AFC South is looking up, it looks like it can either go through Houston or Indy.
I think really there's a 3-team race right now, because like I feel like it could go through Houston, Indy, or Jacksonville. Because while they did implode, I feel like that was just a one-off implosion, in a sense. A one-off. I think they'll be more hungry, more pissed off. Like, look, we can't end the season the way we ended it. We can't play like we played last year. That's the same thing with Philly. If you looked at their training camp things, you have players pissed off about last year. We can't play like that.
And at the same time, too. And yes, I mean, there's a lot of factors. And going back to, and kind of tying this into how we imploded. Yeah, we had crappy coaching and players just not want to.
You had Darius Slay saying he didn't want to make a tackle because at his age he was going to get hurt. You had that. The mindset wasn't there to be dogs from the players. The coaching was terrible. There was just so many problems with that team last year. Many problems.
And
you had Jalen Hurts, poor Jalen Hurts, throwing the rock so much that his arm strength took a hit, and he was throwing picks. And people were talking to him, oh, he's a trash quarterback. He's not really trash. It was the offensive scheme just wasn't working for him.
And at the same time, too, was also dealing with a bum knee. So that's why we haven't really seen him run the ball as much. Now, from what I've been hearing in training, or what I've been seeing through training camp and what people are talking about, that he's more quicker like he was in his rookie season. I'm thinking to myself,
he's quicker because he's not standing in the pocket so much. He's not. He's a running quarterback. He has a good arm. I'm not gonna lie to you that, but you have to implement, for a guy like Jalen Hurts, you have to implement RPOs, gadget plays, things like that.
And I think that's where I think what
You can't just sit there and be like, oh, he's going to be like a Tom Brady and just pocket pass all the time. You can't do that.
No,
Not his
like that
skill set.
style doesn't really work. It. And what's kind of funny too, before I continue my points, like it seems like dual threat quarterbacks nowadays get a lot of criticism by today's standards.
He's not a quarterback. He's a running back. He's a dual threat quarterback. He runs and
I mean, shit, I've been saying. Like I've been, and I had to come to, and I defended Lamar too. He was the first one to get.
Dude, I will. After what I saw last year when he went all the way to the AFC Championship, I'm like, you know what? I'm done dogging this guy. He really is a good quarterback. He really
Even
is.
though it's still kind of funny how. God, I'm gonna really laugh at. I sorry, Ravens fans, but I'm gonna laugh a little bit. But the fact that ESPN called you the Sixers of the NFL, that made me cackle like a hyena.
But here's the thing. That's not true.
Which
because the wild card is the first round. They got a second. I think they got a second round bye last year. So
it was a first round bye.
Or first round bye. I don't know why I said second round. My brain is off today. Jesus Christ. But the first round bye, so they got out of the second round. The Sixers can't. ESPN. That's a bad comparison.
But either way, it's going to be very interesting. And speak with the Ravens too, because shout out to our boy Keith, who actually is a Ravens fan.
Yeah,
I'm kind of optimistic, but I'm kind of not, because you lost a couple key playmakers on your defense and Geno Stone, which I know I've heard a lot of, like, he was 50-50 with a lot of the Ravens fan base. You know, some actually praise for his defense, others, call him a bum, trash, you name it. And look, I like Kyle Hamilton. I mean, and also you also lost your OC and Mike McDonald going to Seattle. Now that is going to be very interesting to look at with the Baltimore defense, because that's kind of what they are. And if you look at the franchise, most of the franchise history, they've been built on defense.
They were, yeah.
I mean, guys like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. Oh God, who's another one I'm blanking on?
You had Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. I think Ellerby was there for a little bit before he came to Philly. Won a Super Bowl there. But really, all you really need to mention is the cornerstones, because that's all people remember from that defense is Ed Reed and Ray Lewis.
Yeah,
Ray Lewis. Yeah,
and
I remember that one play. When they were playing against, I think it was the Patriots, and Ed Reed was going one way to fake out Tom Brady, and he ran the other way and picked him off. It was awesome play. Love that.
A lot of people, and even I think at the time, didn't realize how good Ed Reed and Ray Lewis would be. And you have I think they're both. I think both are Hall of Famers now.
Also, Ray Lewis, as a motivational speaker, has me wanting to run through like 15 walls.
And honestly, I would not be surprised if gets in if Ray Lewis does any coaching of some sorts.
Dude, that would be awesome. Or he could go to like different high schools and be a motivational speaker, because he's good at that too, motivational speaking.
But
then Ed Reed, like, he was a tremendous corner, tremendous. Ray Lewis, he'll hit you. He will hit you.
I mean, that's why they call it a human battering. Does anybody remember that episode of Sports Science? Anybody that we all watched in school?
Oh my God, I'm like, dang. Ed Reed
that really showed how strong.
I was like, damn. Dude, literally in high school, I remember the word. I didn't want to say it's too loud, because I think it was like when we were in science class, me and you, and we saw that episode. I sat there and remembered, damn. Like, I didn't know Ed Reed hit that. Dude, I didn't even know Ed Reed hit that hard, because they showed him like the miles. I think it was like the miles per hour he ran, and like the level of like hardness that he hit. I forgot like the measurement of that, but it was just like he hit him like a freaking Mack truck. It was like the same. It was like,
and that's why they call Ray Lewis.
I think it was
battering ram.
I think it was like they basically said it was like the same impact level of like a Mack truck.
Oh yeah,
like, damn it. If
Uh,
I had to play against Ray Lewis in that defense, I'm forfeiting.
pretty much at that point.
I'm
Um,
forfeiting. I'm not getting hit by Ray Lewis. No.
like, and I will say this too, though, because I've read a lot. And yes, I've read about the story of how the Ravens came to be because they were the original Cleveland Browns. Before what the Browns are now.
Yeah. This is like when their streak of like not winning was going on
And
from like
bottle.
2002 on.
I remember, and I
Because
read about Bottlegate where like fans were throwing like beer bottles at the, like on the field and refs were
that was
had
during that one 2007 season when they were actually fucking good.
and actually it's kind of funny too. And I'll tell anybody this too. Like the first look, as much as I love McNabb, the other QB that I was actually kind of a fan of, and that was Joe Flacco. The reason why
I was a fan of Joe Flacco for a bit. I was actually pretty excited that he was the backup in Philly. Then they cut him after preseason because this is when he was garbage because of his
and the
age.
reason
He's aging.
I'll give you my reason why. I mean, the dude's a South Jersey kid, which
Yeah, he
kind of
lived in a
funny.
town, dude. He lived in a town next to ours.
Also, yeah, went to
He was
Audubon
from
High.
Audubon High School. He lived in Audubon. It was like right. He was basically our town neighbor.
Pretty much.
So that's why me and Rob, we were like, we loved Joe Flacco.
And it's just unfortunate. And yeah, I mean the only down and look, and I'll appreciate the Ravens. You know, I thought the Ravens also had some pretty success with him until they actually gave him that one extension where, when you really look back on it, yikes, that was bad. But besides that, moving on. But Travis Kelce kind of talked. You know, he kind of admitted the challenges after a taxing year, and actually, let's see if we can get that because he actually did talk about it. That after a pretty taxing year, saying that last year was pretty taxing on my body. So, and pretty much talking about, says that I have had more snaps than a lot of guys, if not everybody in the NFL over the past 5-6 years. I'm very prideful of that, but I know it is taking toll on my body, and he'll be 35 come this October. And it makes you want. I think I can see why the Chiefs kind of picked up a couple tight ends in the draft because who knows how long Travis Kelce has left on the tires? Because who knows?
Maybe he may be done after a couple years because he's already talking about how taxing a season is on his body. Like his body's starting to really get to him. He's starting to feel that pain, the aches and pains of playing football for however many years he's been playing. In his career, like he's starting to feel it. He's starting to feel the effects. I feel like his time is almost up too.
I think another guy I think explained it perfectly, and that was George Kittle. I think he did in one interview where it said someone asked him like is it really comfortable every Sunday? He said, no, it feels like every week it's like multiple car crashes, like one on a week by week basis. Like, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it is going to be interesting. What the future, what Travis's future is like too. Other than but yeah, so should be interesting to watch out.
Yeah.
Now, kind of a little bit into the NBA a little bit because, like I said, that's kind of really like there's a lot of training camp stuff. Like, there's like too much to go over on that. But with the NBA, yes, obviously getting the new media rights deal. However, Warner Brothers Discovery got pissed off and actually filed a lawsuit against the NBA over losing their media rights to Amazon. So
Here's my thing. Before you read more of the report, I can see why Warner is pissed over it because, the NBA on TNT was the premier thing for their network. That was what brought them ratings. Was that nothing else really brings them that much ratings? Like, who watches Snowpiercer? Who watches the other shows that they watch.
Pretty
Most
much
people, some
nobody.
people do. No, it's not nobody because they get new seasons. Some people do watch TNT for that stuff, but all they really show on their network on a daily basis is basically those shows which are kind of popular, but also reruns of movies. They
Not
don't
the
really
same.
show much, but that's why they were banking on NBA on TNT, and inside the NBA with Shaq and Charles and Kenny and and oh, fuck, what's his name? The host.
You had Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and
Ernie, that too. Ernie, that's the guy I'm missing. Ernie.
Ernie.
You have those four, and their marketability is pretty high because they're funny. They're funny. They're
I mean,
broadcast. They
especially
make
Charles.
pregame.
Look, I mean,
They make but hold on. They make pregame shows and postgame shows funny.
yeah, it's like freaking like
And
four grown adult
four
children.
grown children just talking basketball. You know, it's like that's how.
I mean,
That's
as
how it
Charles
is. Like,
Barkley once said, I think I remember this one said, it's like, you know, God, and I would say Charles has something questionable, somewhat out of pocket.
no,
Like, I'll be juggling two
here's the
balls.
funny thing. Here's the funny thing is the way he phrases things. He doesn't mean it to come out dirty. And then you see fucking Shaq just
lose
palming
it.
and just trying not to die laughing.
Like, this is one that still makes me cackle too. It's like, it's like I was like, I'll be juggling two balls, and Ernie goes, "Is that what we're doing?"
I
was like,
and then he's like, "Oh," Ernie goes, "That's what we're doing," and then Shaq just loses it.
Just lose. Like, that's
no,
what.
and then it was like, I think it was like talking about like something about like I forgot.
I think back then how physical was.
He was like talking about how physical he was as a defender, and
It's
he
like,
says it in the most, and it sounded wrong, and then Shaq's over there face palming and laughing.
It's like I can't feel you.
He's like, I'll come. He's like, I come feel you on defense, and then you see Shaq just fucking dying. That's like putting us on TV, pretty much. That's what inside the NBA is, and that's what made that marketable, and that's why I can see why Warner is pissed, but I also see the other side of things why Amazon wanted the NBA for their streaming service because, listen, at the end of the day, cable TV is dying. Cable TV is dying. The new market out there, the new moneymaker is streaming services. That's the new moneymaker, and that's why the NBA decided we're moving this off of cable and we're moving it to Amazon. That's also why I'm going to talk a little bit of wrestling here for a minute. That's why Monday Night Raw is moving off of cable and moving to Netflix for WWE. Because the new market is not cable. The market's not cable anymore. It's streaming services. That's the new market. And that's what the older generation is failing to realize. People like Charles Barkley. People like, it's mainly Charles Barkley bitching about it. And also like the older people who can't let go of cable. Like it's really like the new market streaming services is because cable
take it from me.
Is dying off. Cable is dying off.
And they do. I will say
Amazon here's the thing with Amazon. You don't necessarily need DVR because there's a replay thing where after streams end, they got a replay.
Yeah.
Like I sat there, like when they do the Thursday night games, if I miss a game, it's available still on that Friday. I can watch the game that Friday. Like they there's replay there. Yeah, like after a while it'll get on it'll leave because it's just a game, and if you missed it, like you can have like a week or so to watch it again, but like still they do have replay value, so they don't really need a DVR system.
So going to the reports, so they said the loss.
Sure, dude, I literally saw a game still like the replay of a game on Amazon one time. I literally saw a game. And also, but then again, you have NFL Plus, they also get it too. So, but they also have the NBA League app or whatever.
Yeah, the League Pass.
So you can watch it there. Yeah, you have to pay a little bit more money,
but it's worth it.
It's still cheaper than cable.
Oh yeah,
And also,
even though kind of
and
what
also
only
people also
downside
think,
is the blackouts for your local.
dude, that kind of like sets me off sometimes. The whole blackout thing. I feel like when cable, oh yeah, they do have a DVR option. They do. But the thing is, though, like, I feel like once cable dies off and the regional sports networks still continue to take a hit and like things like that take a hit, I feel like there's gonna be no more blackouts anymore.
Because
You're
good
really
lord, that
you're also starting to see that with the MLB app. There's not
which
really
I
blackouts anymore, except for if your team is still on a regional sports network, then there is blackouts. But other
unfortunately,
other than that, there's been no blackouts. Unfortunately, you
unfortunately,
can't catch.
I gotta use I have to use the Dofu app anytime I have to watch any Phillies games. So
Yeah,
and
because
same with
you
fun.
wait.
It's gonna be the same as the Sixers games.
Me, I
Unfortunately,
can't watch any game because we don't. I don't have the MLB app anymore. Also, I can't. I don't like using Dofu or shit like that because of they always copyright shit. So it's like I don't care for it. And plus, I haven't really been into baseball that heavily this
yeah,
year
because
anyway.
baseball's kind of
I feel like the Phillies won so much this year that I got bored.
yeah, that's true.
I got bored. I'm like, yeah, they keep winning, and then I mean now they're losing, which
It happens.
I'm starting to panic. I'm starting to panic a little bit, but not much.
I'm not really too worried.
Like I know they're in a slump. I know there's a
I
lot of
mean,
games,
look,
but y'all need to get your heads out your ass and start winning.
so going to
Um,
the report though, credits to Baxter Holmes, who's the senior writer at ESPN. Warner Bros. Discovery filed a lawsuit against the NBA on Friday, alleging that the league breached its contract by declining its offer for a new media rights deal instead of signing with Amazon. The lawsuit was
right.
filed in New York Supreme Court, and a summons obtained by ESPN stated that the NBA has 20 days to respond, saying, "quote Given the NBA's unjustified rejection of matching of a third-party offer, we have taken legal action to enforce our rights." TNT Sports said in a statement Friday. We strongly believe that this is just not our contractual right, but also in the best interest of fans who want to keep watching our industry-leading NBA content with the choice and flexibility we offer them through our widely distributed WBD first distribution platforms, including TNT and Max. Warner Brothers Discovery claims are without merit, and our lawyers will address them.
Again,
So
I don't understand why Warner is being so goddamn petty over it. Because, like, again, cable TV is dying. Your networks are dying. But then again, though, I can see why, because you also air games on Max.
yeah,
So I do see their side a little bit, but like still, like cable TV's dying. The new way is streaming. I would honestly be like, you know what? Screw TNT. We're gonna fight this, and we're gonna say, you know what? New deal. We're gonna have Max involved with this.
and it's
We're only
and
gonna put games on Max now
which I would
since
be
cable
fine
TV's
with.
dying. I'm okay with that. You know,
Or actually, in a way, if I'm the NBA, like offer like packages of League Pass, then you'll get some more subscribers for League Pass.
offer packages, yeah.
I mean,
Offer the
shoot,
package. Yeah,
the
that's
WNBA,
the thing. But that's the thing though. Like they have the programming, and I understand a little bit as to why Warner is not happy about it. But honestly, I would just say, you know what? Have NBA exclusive to Max.
yeah. And either way, you'll still get what
You'll
you would.
still get you'll still get the NBA on like, and you'll still have and make inside the NBA a streaming exclusive.
Yeah,
Take it off the cable because again, like I said, cable TV is not the way to go anymore. It's not.
100%. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And actually, funny too. Like this also came 2 days after the NBA signed a new 11-year media rights deal worth nearly $76 billion with Disney, which is the parent company of ESPN, NBC, and NBC Prime Video. That runs from the 25-26 season through the 2035-36 season.
Right.
But we'll have this. We'll have to wait and see how this. For
That's
me,
also too like a lot of your cable replacements like a Fubo TV
they're
or
expensive as shit too.
or oh my god, I had Fubo. I literally only had like Fubo for like a day because like the Phillies were playing the Red Sox and there was blackouts. I only had that shit for a day. Dude, literally had like a 30-day free trial. I used it one time for one day.
Like,
And then it's like, you know what? Nope, done. Because like
and I'll
it's
say
so
this too,
goddamn
Tyler.
expensive.
Fubo TV is still it's a little bit more expensive than YouTube TV by $6.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because of the whole
So
regional
if
sports
so
thing.
so little side note before we go continue the last three topics we have. For anybody who's looking for a cable alternative, for me and
Fine.
Tyler, I recommend Sling TV. It's a lot cheaper that way.
It's like
It's
what?
$45 a month.
It's like
You
25,
get
yeah, $25 a month.
I think it's I
But
don't
I feel like if you get one plan, I think it's the orange or the blue. You can get either
blue
or.
you the blue you get
Now I
like the
recommend now if you're a sports head and you want to watch ESPN, I recommend getting that plan.
well, that's also you can also add that on as well. I think that's like $11 a month. So that comes out to $56 a month by the looks of things. If I'm, but it's not bad. It's a lot better than a lot of people are
Way
paying cable
cheaper,
for.
paying like $200 to like $300 for cable.
Oh, 100%. So
Way cheaper.
sticking now moving to the WNBA, which yes, I know we haven't time covering it, but it's just like there's just some games are not that appealing, and that pains me because I love the.
I love the league. I love the league.
But our aces are kind of
It seems like the ladies have fun on the court. They
they
do.
do,
They have fun,
and
and you can tell like certain teams. There's like a sisterhood there, which is really cool. Like our aces, they have fun. You can
they
tell
do,
they have fun.
but in a way, they're this. I was going to say their season is slightly disappointing, even though they are above
It's
500.
slightly different. They took a step back. I feel like after losing CP,
Or
then yeah, it was. Yeah, the Olympics are on. I'm not really an Olympic guy. The
Olympics
only
kind of
like
went down the toilet.
not really. It's not really went down the toilet. I don't think none of the sports they don't really appeal to me. The only ones that really appeal to me is baseball. Um,
Hell, even
baseball.
softball was impressive. I like
Freaking
watching the
softball, dude. I
Olympics.
watched the hell out of softball last year. They freaking killed it.
Uh,
Softball, swimming. I watch. Swimming's
Now
fun
that
to watch.
Marku, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Oh, they're not soft. Hell, look at dude. Freaking Kelsey Plum takes a damn hit and then looks at the camera and goes, well, and then gets up. I'm like, dang, woman took a hit.
Like the way how these ladies play, like it's like the old school way that it would look like in the obviously late '90s to the early 2000s sort of
And
way.
also, guess what? They're not jacking up threes. They're taking it to the damn hoop, like in the '90s and 2000s. They're not just jacking up threes.
And it's kind of crazy. It's also I'm kind of glad too. Like, it's that. God, hold on. I'm having a fucking brain fart right now. Hang on. Oh, there it is.
Dun. Windows alert. Dun.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so me and Tara kind of talked about this before on the show that the WNBA is making really much progress to hopefully make turn a profit because right now without the NBA this would be done, and a lot of these ladies will be out of a job. Well, actually, would be
I
wrong
feel
on that
like
one.
if it wasn't for the WNBA, I don't think me and you would have content other than wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. I feel like this is more like a wrestling channel than sports, and it pains me because we should be both, and we kind of
Well,
alienated. Like the sports side of things. But without the NBA, the WNBA, we wouldn't even be talking right now.
Exactly. And at the same time, too. And yes, we're in a dead period. We're in this weird dead period because we got until 2 months till football. But yeah, I mean, look, and look, it's not because we don't like covering sports, but every time because we always get into this, it feels like at the middle, I would say, yeah, the dog days of summer. That's the best way to perfectly explain
Dog
that.
summer, yeah, it's the dog days of summer.
Because once summer ends, it's like it's what is there to do with?
Yeah, it's like, and also we're in like June. We're in July right now, and honestly, at this point of the baseball season, no one's really talking about it.
Yeah, it's
we talked about the trade deadline trades like a few times, and then
but nothing really too much of importance.
It was nothing. There was nothing other than that. Like okay, we got
this trade
Austin
happening.
Hayes,
We got
cool.
so and so here and there, but
we got Austin Hayes and that closer from the Angels. Okay, big whoop. Like Austin Hayes, that's a nice pickup, and the closer was a nice pickup. But the thing is, like, other than that, there was really nothing.
Yeah, because the actual trade deadline is not until Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which, going back to the WNBA a little bit too, before we, I will say this too though. Team USA in that exhibition against the WNBA All Stars, Team USA, you got your asses handed to you.
You want to know why?
Oh my God!
You want to know why? It's because of the whole damn. They had random basketball players that aren't even in the WNBA try out for Team USA for that All-Star game. It was the higher competition versus lower level competition. It wasn't really, but the thing is though, it was more entertaining than the freaking NBA All-Star game. Because at least the women were actually playing defense.
Yeah,
other than the NBA, they just don't care. They're just standing around, letting shots go in, and we almost had a 200 burger in the NBA All-Star game. Or we actually did, I think. If I remember correctly, we had a 200.
So yeah, so at the All-Star game, you had the Team WNBA, which is pretty much comprised of the WNBA All-Stars taking on the Team USA, which is going to the Olympics. Now, yeah, the biggest criticism, we've seen a lot of criticisms, with how the Olympic Committee, which is put with a bunch of old hits. Now, the only one I would say that actually should avoid criticism, that's A'ja Wilson, because she's always been consistently good for the what.
Hell, we've been screaming from the rafters, man. MVP this year.
Could be potentially. It's not going to be an easy three-peat. Because there's some others. I mean, ladies like Brianna Stewart.
You still have your Brianna Stewarts. You have Angel Reese, who's had a good season.
She may get some, but I think there's. I would say another one, Alyssa Thomas. She's always been a consistent MVP front runner, walking triple double. I mean, you got to put DeWanna Bonner in there.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh God, I just think of another one now. I'm having a complete brain fart. It'll come back to me.
Let's just skip it. Let's just skip that.
But going back to the All-Star game, so Erika Ogubawale, in terms of her play style, especially in the second half of the All-Star game, I've never seen anybody burst out for 34 points in the second half.
Yeah.
And Team USA, you got embarrassed by WNBA All-Stars. With Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Erika Ogubawale, there's a couple others. And you got your asses handed to you before the Olympics.
Silver goddamn platter. Silver platter.
That was just bad. That was just embarrassing.
I watched that game and I'm like, wow. That was horrendous from Team USA. Holy hell. Yeah, it was terrible. It was a terrible, terrible performance.
I was like, yeah.
It was It was mildly. It was like kind of mildly close in the first half. Second half blew the
Yeah,
fuck out.
that when the switch flipped.
I was like, wow, they flipped that switch big time. They pressed the damn turbo button.
But also, in terms of taking one of the in credit to Alexa Filippo, who also I follow on Twitter for all WNBA content and stuff like and regarding women's basketball, the Chicago Sky have announced plans to build a $38 million practice facility that they announced a couple of days ago. So the
Okay.
Performance Center is listed over 40,000 square feet, will be next to the Wintrust Sports Complex, came through. So yeah, so the Sky are going to get their own practice facility, kind of like how our Aces got theirs in Vegas.
Yep.
And I'm kind of happy for that. Even
Me
though,
too.
but let's right. Okay, actually, they're so the Sky are the latest WNBA team to announce the plans to build a standalone practice facility for its organization. The Las Vegas Aces opened theirs in April of last year in 2023, while the Storm and the Mercury, we'll get to the Mercury in just a second because I had unveiled theirs in April and July of this year, and the Dallas Wings are also planning to build one upon their move from Arlington to downtown Dallas in 2026. I'm shit. Like I said, you talk about the progression this league's kind of going in. You got the charter flights, and we'll get to the media rights in just a bit because that's the next thing. But how about the Phoenix Mercury? Kind of a bit of slight turnaround after being one of the worst teams last year. Oh Jesus!
Like
I'm sorry, Mercury.
My thing is too, like, about the Mercury. I feel like they've actually built the team way better than they did last year. Last year it was horrendous. You know, it also didn't help that you had that Brittany Griner situation going down,
And
and
she's on the wrong side of 30. Where
she's also on the wrong side of 30. She's kind of taken a little bit of a step back in her skill, and I feel like, this year I didn't expect better. I expected a slight improvement, but I just didn't expect like them to be as good as they are. Like
so,
I
Todd, do
was
you know
like,
what the record is so far up
what
to this point? They're
what
13-12 through 25 games.
I didn't expect
That
it. I did
that's
not
good for
expect it.
if the playoffs started. That's good for the 6th seed.
I didn't expect it. That's the thing. I didn't expect it. I was expecting maybe. I didn't expect hovering around 500 or a game over 500. I expected maybe probably like a few more wins than last year, but that's about it. Because I feel like their main problem last year was all the turnovers. That was the
Oof.
main issue for the team.
Yeah. At
Was
the
your
same time,
was
too,
your
it's kind of hard to sit through a freaking Mercury game. I'm
dude?
sorry, Mercury
I
fans.
literally, dude, like I said before, Rob, like I said before on the last episode, right? I couldn't even sit through one half of their game. Like 15 turnovers in the first half. Come on.
And I felt bad for the fans. It's like the
Oh
fact that you
my
had to
god.
sit
Yeah.
there, even in person. You had to buy when you buy a ticket to go see the Mercury. I was like, oh, bad. But
I
now
remember.
it's
I remember the big. I think like in the first half of the season when they were really vying for BG to come home from the Russia thing, they did
yeah,
sell out. But after that happened, and then like after he came home, I think after the fact they just stopped selling out because they were just that bad.
yeah.
And like it was horrendous. It was horrendous. I fear from that.
I mean, so far on the season, as a team, they're averaging basically 84 points a game as a team.
Yeah.
But in terms of who's leading the league as a team in points per game, that is us at 88.7.
See, we know how to score. I don't
The
know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a defensive thing. I've missed a few of their games, honestly.
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't
Plus, at
know
the same
what.
time, we didn't have Chelsea Gray because she was out with a leg injury, so that
Right,
kind
right.
of
I've missed a few of their games, but like losing Chelsea Gray, I did hear about that. That's one of the signs as to why they've been struggling because you missed
can
a huge piece.
Candace Parker retiring. That was another
Candace
one.
Candace Parker.
That was the first domino to fall.
That was the first, very first domino to fall in the offseason. Candace Parker retires. And then I'm like, I didn't expect him to take that much of a hit because it's one player. Like even like last year when they got Candace Parker, I'm like, I don't even think they even need her. But turns out they did. And that's why they made it all the way to the finals last year and won it.
So I mean, coming up, our next game is against the Liberty.
How is Caitlin Clark's team doing? I don't follow the NBA. They actually are doing. They're actually doing pretty good.
A lot better improvement to what they were last year. So, if you want a funny note, so if the playoffs started right now, this Indiana Fever will currently hold the 7th seed in the WNBA playoffs at 11-15.
Yeah,
even though
they're doing okay. They're not terrible. I mean, they're not good, but they're not terrible.
I mean, they're 5-5 in the last 10 games. They're averaging as a team 81.8 per game. However, they're allowing a little bit more than of opposition at 87.3. That is a negative 5.5 point differential.
Right.
And yeah, and that was the one thing too with the Fever too. It's like one of our biggest criticisms is like that the coaching staff is not allowing Caitlin Clark to use what she's known for, as actually creating shots, being the kind of playmaker that we saw when at her time in Iowa.
Yeah, like early on in the season, they were really making her the shot creator that she can be and that she is. They were having her, shoot threes, like regular threes, over the defense, which wasn't working. You have to have her shot create open shots. And they didn't early on in the season. They didn't allow her to do it. And then now they're allowing her to do it. They're winning a bit more than they were. I think she broke a record. I
think she holds the assist record now.
The assist record, yeah. She's finding the open woman, which is great. Finding an open teammate and shot creating, which is something she did in Iowa.
So, in terms of her first season in the WNBA, she's averaging 17.1 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 8.2 assists per game, and 1.5 steals per game.
Yeah.
So basically, she's almost averaging a double on points and assists. Just that alone.
Right.
Consider the fact, her showing in the All-Star game, not the greatest, 4 points, 1 rebound, but however, she did record 10 assists, 2 steals. Yeah. No, obviously the biggest problem is her turnovers, because right now she, do you really want to know?
She needs to work on handling the ball. That's the
5.6 turnovers is what she's averaging.
That's really my only gripe for Caitlin, is she needs to learn how to handle the ball.
Well, besides that, they're third in their in their conference.
Yeah.
Right now we all know the Eastern Conference. Oh God, do I want to? Yeah, currently right now it's running through the New York Liberty, who are 21-4.
Yeah, I think it's just the Liberty and then everybody else.
Pretty much following suit. Now, I did mention about the media rights deal. How they, on the other hand, they got reached a monumental 11-year deal, which was the same as the NBA. Where is it? Out there it is. So, WNBA secures monumental media deal with Disney, Amazon, NBCU. But they said the deal is valued at $2.2 billion or $200 million per year. A source told ESPN via Alexa Philippou.
Right.
So to speak, with the amount of money that they're getting in for the media rights deal, that means we're going to see more pay increases for the ladies, which hopefully at some point, because here's the thing: if they keep progressing forward, and drawing a lot more ratings, and securing more at some point, I would not be surprised to see all these ladies, make over like $1 million or so down the get. Because right now, that will be a very interesting thing to do or to look at, and hopefully, like I said before, hopefully, they actually learn how to make money instead of just having to, kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, and not say really rely on the NBA for money, but and stuff like that.
I mean, they're gonna have to rely on the NBA for money because they're a sub division of the NBA. They're a sub league that's ran by the NBA. But yeah, again, they got to make money because you know they're a business. They have to make money. The problem is you have a lot of fans who think, the women don't matter and the men do, which is stupid, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I think it's incredibly stupid that sexism is also at play here. But like it's also because before with this league they weren't running a lot of ads as well. There was very minimal ads for the WNBA, so no one really knew what game would be on. Like
yeah.
no one knew. And now everyone knows that, oh, we got this game coming up. We got the Aces game coming up. We got, the Mercury game. We got this game, that game, and a third. Like it's marketed. It's marketed now. It's marketed
And
very
also at
well.
the same time too, we also got to thank Caitlin Clark for that,
You gotta you really have to really
and
thank
Angel Reese. So I'm gonna give her some credit too.
I was gonna say you have to really thank their college feud, if you would call it that, because it's carried over into the WNBA. It's carried over. Also, you really got to thank last year too with the marketability of the league. You have to take that into account because once they started marketing the league, you know, WNBA had the WNBA app had a lot of viewers.
Yeah, and jumped up in subscribers.
It jumped up in subscriptions. ESPN ratings jumped up. So it's like you can thank Caitlin Clark, you can thank Angel Reese, but you can also thank the commissioner for actually doing her job in marketing this league.
Because that was one of the down. That was kind of one of
That
the biggest criticisms, like the lack of
there was no
marketing.
market. There was no marketing being done, and she started marketing the league. The players started to market as well by talking like, "Oh, this is the best league, for women. Best league in one of the best leagues in basketball," and they marketed it, and it was great. A great year last year for them. Ratings rise and everything else, and it's like, it's really like cool to see that because again, there's a lot of great players in the WNBA. A lot of great players.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, if you like the older style of play, then great. And like, because you'll get that. You'll get women just driving to the hoop. If there's not an open shot at three, drive to the hoop. You don't really get that much in, the NBA because all of them are shot creators.
Yeah,
And all of them make a three. But the thing is, though, it's like, and also Greg and John, no, not really.
but Steve, look. Meantime, we do get it. We understand where you're coming from with this.
Steve, I understand the whole thing though with that, but I honestly I'm neutral on the situation. I see both
Yeah,
sides because one side is saying marijuana is illegal over there. She should have been in prison. 9 years for marijuana, but here's the thing that like kind of made it fishy. 9 years for weed.
and this
I know laws. I know laws are different in Russia. I get that. God damn.
and I
Fucking
will
right
say,
now. No, hold on. Let me finish. I wasn't done. Um, But 9 years, I think it was too much. And I do see the other side saying that, she was used as a pawn for like the Ukraine war to get the US involved and shit. Like I do think, that's at play too. That's why I'm like so neutral on the situation. I'm neutral. I didn't really have an opinion on that shit. I'm like
Yeah,
I'm staying out of this because,
it's
I don't want to
political.
fight with anybody with a differing opinion on situations, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay. I see both sides, so I'm just gonna stay neutral.
And for me, for watching the WNBA the last year and a half, the way I can look at Brittany Griner, I mean, I will say, we trust me, Steve. We've read about it, but like to me, Charles, we're the kind of people we stay out of those kinds of spaces because we just don't do it. We just
You
don't talk.
got basically you trade. The trade off was trading a pedophile. That's what
Actually,
happened.
it was a weapons arms dealer.
Or no,
No,
it wasn't a pedophile. It was a weapons arms dealer, which is a war crime, pretty much.
yeah,
So that's what happened. Like they basically traded a guy who was illegally trading weapons.
pretty much.
And
Besides
and
that,
that's more of a harsher crime than weed. So
but for me though, like I'm in the kind of minority that I've always thought that Brittany Griner kind of felt like a little bit of a distraction on the league. I don't know. There was something about Brittany Griner. She just like I'm not saying like all I'm saying
I
is to
think it
say
wasn't really a distraction. I mean, it was a distraction because everybody was talking about that instead of like focusing on the league and the play, the women. Like they were just focusing on the Brittany Griner thing, which I understand because that situation was messy. It was rocky. It was a terrible situation on both fronts. It
oh
was
yeah.
it was a bad situation. So I agree. I do agree that it was distracting. I don't think it was more so a distraction on anybody, like for teams or anything like that. I just feel like it was distracting. Weapons arms dealer directly
Yeah.
connected to millions of deaths. Traded for a pothead basketball player. It wasn't really embarrassing.
I mean on paper.
Not really.
I mean look,
Not
to
really
each
embarrassing. It's not embarrassing because being a pothead is fine. Being a guy who, you know, caused a lot of death, that's worse.
oh yeah.
That's
Like I
my
said,
thing.
but I mean look, to each their own to their different opinion
No,
though.
no, don't, no, Steve. We're not doing that. It's not FWNBA. It is not that. We're not doing that. We are not doing that because they traded. So you think trading a guy who got people killed for a woman who smokes pot is embarrassing because you don't like the pothead? Sorry. That's a bad take. I'm sorry. Bad
But
take.
other than that, we're gonna move on to the last final thing that the WNBA is actually eyeing ex- expanding more games to the season to 44 games, which is the most amount allowed under the current CBA.
Well, that's Russia's fault. That's not her fault. It's Russia. You
But
want to know why? Do you want to know why that means free? Do you want to know why that means free? Russia is evil. Russia's evil. They like evil people. And that's my and yeah, it's stupid that he's roaming free in Russia. But again, that's worse than fucking pot. Way worse. She should not be trapped in Russia over pot.
I mean, still, but like I said, it is what it is at this point. But like I
So
said,
you know what? No, I am not on both. Now you got me on her side. I'm sorry. I'm on her side. But
but
debate's over. It's been over for a year now. Let's move on.
like for because the thing is too, Steve, I don't pay attention to it because that's just me.
No, I do fully understand the situation. You're the one that's not fully understanding the situation.
Just yeah.
You think she should be trapped in Russia because she had pot in the airport? Big whoop. Let her go home. That's my thing. Now, is it her fault that the weapons dealer? You're blaming it on her. Is it her fault that the weapons dealer is roaming free in Russia? No, it is Vladimir fucking Putin's fault. Let's blame the real enemy here. So let's move on from this because I'm getting heated.
But other than that, like I said, no, I'm just gonna just wrap it up here before it gets much worse than it has to be. Appreciate you guys hanging out, and with that being said, we are out.
Peace.